All right, retest question number 5 is another word problem, but this one also involves matrices. Step 1, read the question. So Sunnydale High School is home to Buffy Summers. She likes to eat apples, bananas, and coconuts. She eats 26 fruits per week. Buffy eats twice as many coconuts as apples. The total number of apples and bananas that she eats is 14. Which of the following matrices could be used to find the number of each fruit she eats per week? So we've got to decide which matrices works best. So that means I'm going to have to set up the system of equations, but I can narrow this down first. I can look at my answer choices, and from what I know about matrices is they need to contain numbers. The only matrix that should have variables in them is this second matrix right here before the equal sign, because that's your variable matrix. Everything else is either a coefficient matrix or a constant matrix, and coefficients and constants are numbers. So they need to have numbers in them, which means that B here is going to be wrong because your coefficient matrix has a bunch of letters in it, A's, B's, and C's. Same with answer choice C. It's got a bunch of variables in it, A's, B's, and C's. So we've got, I got to have numbers in the coefficient matrix. So it's either A or C. So now I have to write my system of equations. The first thing I know is she eats apples, bananas, and coconuts. So I better have A, B, C. And I know that it equals 26 total. So apples plus bananas plus coconuts equals 26. Then I know that she eats twice as many coconuts as apples. To write this equation, the first thing I need to ask myself is, what does she have more of, coconuts or apples? Well, if she eats twice as many coconuts, that means she has more coconuts. But that does not mean that I do coconuts times 2. What that means is that I'm going to do the coconuts by themselves. The thing that you have more of gets all by itself, and the other thing is what you multiply. So I have coconuts equals 2 times the number of apples. I also know the total number of apples and bananas is 14. So I know that apples plus bananas is 14. Well, the only equation that I have written that is not written so I can put it in a matrix is this second one right here. In order for me to be able to put it in a matrix, it has all the variables have to be on one side of the equation. Right now they're not. I have a C and then it equals 2A. So I've got to get this 2A moved over to here. The only way to do that is to subtract 2A from here and then subtract it from here. And then I want them to be in this same order, A, B, C. So this becomes negative 2A plus C equals 0 because this became a 0. So now I can look at my matrices. The first one needs to be 1, 1, 1, 26. Well, if you look at A, I've got 1, 1, 1, 26. So far, so good. Then I've got 1, 1, 1, 26. Well, I can't pick an answer yet. The next one needs to be negative 2, then a 0 because there's no B, then a 1 and a 0. So it should be negative 2, 0, 1, 0. So if you look at A, it says 0, 2, 0. Well, that's not what I just said I needed. I just said that I needed a negative 2, a 0, and a 1. Well, that doesn't work here, so it's not going to be A. But if you look at D doesn't have that either. It says 2 and then negative 1. That is because when they did this equation, they did the opposite of what I did, and they subtracted C from both sides. It's the same thing. They ended up with 2A minus C equaled 0, which is the same thing as what I've got here. They just reversed the order of their variables. It's no big deal. This is what they had instead. They still got everything together on the same side of the equal sign. That's what you're wanting. They just subtracted the C because it was a little easier. This becomes your answer, so it becomes D.